Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do the part 2 of the Q&A. I have all of you guys' questions on my phone. I'm just going to flip through and just randomly answer some just to try to make it fair. The first question, how did you find and make new friends when you stopped using? When I stopped using, I found I lost a lot of friends as I didn't want to be around that environment anymore, but I'm having trouble finding new ones. You are not alone with that. I think every single one of us in recovery goes through that at some point. I literally moved away, out of state, away from everything and everyone that I knew. I had to do that for me because I really needed to start over and I didn't want any distractions. I wanted to be able to focus and really do it this time. Has it been hard making friends? In early recovery, it was awkward. But of course, like in sober living, the girls there were nice and we hung out together. There was one girl from sober living. I still keep in touch with her today. Honestly, I hang out with my family and I'm always so busy. I don't even have time and it sounds horrible. But as far as making friends, I have a lot of acquaintances. You still have people that are out there that care about you. You might not consider them your best friend, but I think everyone, as we age, we lose all those friends that we thought were friends. You might have like one or two actual real friends left. And that's just a normal thing because people change as they grow. People have kids. I don't have kids, so a lot of my friends have kids. I stopped getting invited to a lot of things because I don't have kids. So that's just how it is. You just can't be too hard on yourself. When I was bartending, I had a lot of regulars that would come in, bring their families in, eat dinner. We'd have Christmas parties. You know, you have your work friends. You just can't try to look into it too much. Just live your day-to-day life and people will come around that are supposed to be around. You don't want to try to pressure yourself into making friends with somebody, and it's the same as dating, you know? You don't want to pressure yourself and be around the wrong people. Even with social media now, we all have an outlet to talk to each other that a lot of us didn't have before. So I think a lot of people even have their friendships online too. There's just so many ways to start a friendship now. Or if you're someone that goes to meetings, you might meet someone. But yeah, just don't stress it too much. It's completely normal. What do you do on bad days? And I've had a lot of people asking me this because I'm always showing my videos of me. I'm in a good mood. And most of the time I am in a good mood. Of course, I have my bad days. I have my days where I just want to lay in bed. I have days that I cry. I might cry happy tears. I might cry sad tears. But all I do is I just keep going. Of course, the thoughts come in my brain about using. I'm in recovery. Of course I think about it. I just don't act on it. And I have set up my life where I'm at now. I did that for a reason because I did not want that extra temptation whatsoever. You just got to reach out and talk to somebody. Now I have my family around me and it's easier for me to talk to them. When I was really going through hard times, I would call my family. My sober living friend, now she always answers the phone. Just find somebody that you can talk to. I know I always say this, before you act on those crazy thoughts, just call somebody. Or I always say, get on social media. You know, we're all here. Most of us are on here. I know I'm on here checking the comments on all my platforms all day long. So just, reach out that way too. There's somebody that's on there that's going to catch that comment and reply. Our community is really, really good with that. But whatever you do, just don't act on those crazy thoughts. It's normal to think them. Just don't just be like, okay, I'm doing it. Don't do that. Even if you got to Google reasons why I shouldn't, if you can't remember at that moment. But yeah, just don't do it. Don't act on it because it's not going to be worth it. Someone asked, I just got broken up with, so my mental and physical health is going bad. Do you have any tips for me to feel better? The best thing that you can do is try to find something that you love to do, whether it's go take a walk in the park, or if you're like me, you like to get your nails done, or maybe you could literally just put a dress on if you have one, or dress up a little bit, curl your hair a little bit, put a little bit of makeup on, and you could just go to Walmart. You could just get out of the house, do something. You could just go sit down and eat somewhere. Just anything. Do something to kind of pamper yourself. Or you could do like a spa day at home. That's self-care. Something to where you are showing yourself that you love yourself. I feel like that helps. It helps you feel better. And always reaching out to somebody, but I know sometimes we don't feel like talking to people and we just need some me time, and that's okay. If you gotta cry it out, crying helps. It really does. Feeling the emotions and crying. You could always go talk to a therapist or go to a meeting. They really help. It helps just talking about stuff. Instead of you holding on to all that and it building up, you're releasing it so that negativity isn't just trapped in your body. Your whole body will start feeling it. It's not gonna just be in your thoughts, it's going to be in your whole body, the stress, the anxiety, just everything. My suggestion is just do something nice for yourself, or cook yourself a nice dinner. You could dress up and just stay home and cook yourself dinner and, pretend like you're going out. We don't have to go out and spend money to feel better. You could do all these things at home, but just something that will help you feel better in the moment. You could write a poem. You could watch a funny movie. Funny movies are always good because they'll make you laugh and you won't be thinking about any negative stuff. Maybe find your favorite actor, your favorite actress, or your favorite funny movie and watch it, or TV show. I think that helps a lot too. The most popular question I've seen on here is, when did I realize I wanted to change? When was my rock bottom? How did I do it? And I know I've told the story of how I did it. My rock bottom, which I know everybody's rock bottom is different. Some people, bump their head once and they get it together. For me, it took me a few times of bumping my head. I didn't only hit my worst point in my life once. I did it multiple times until I completely, I drug it out as long as I could possibly take it. And then I finally got help. So it wasn't when I lost everything right away. I had lost everything and lived like that and was in and out of jail and still continued to live like that with nothing. I swear it was like years I lived like that, homeless, just pushing everybody away. I stayed in that misery for years. I drained myself. It wasn't just a thought of, I want to get clean. I can't do this anymore. I physically, emotionally, mentally, I could not take it anymore. I was so drained, so wore out. I didn't feel like myself anymore. And I just knew my time was coming. I knew I wasn't going to make it that much longer on the streets. I didn't even have the energy to do it, even try. So for me, it was just something in me that was just tired of it. And what I did, I was at a hotel room and I prayed about it. And I hadn't prayed in years and years. And I was just in there crying while I was using. I was crying. And I just didn't know what to do anymore. But I knew I just did not want to live like that. I couldn't do it anymore. I was so sick of having to get up and do the same thing every day, but have nothing to show for it. Having to fight, argue with people I didn't know. Anytime I had any belongings, them getting stolen. I wasn't eating. I couldn't even take a shower. It was just, I was starting to lose my teeth. It was just really, really, I got into a really bad place. And like I said, I stayed in that misery for a while before I was like, okay, I am completely done with this. I remember one day, this was when I first lost everything. I had moved all my stuff to a hotel, and I had lost the hotel, of course, because, my money wasn't going to pay for that. And I had furniture and stuff, and the hotel let me put it in like a spare room that they had. So when I lost the hotel room, I didn't only lose all my belongings. I lost all the furniture that I had from my house. I lost everything. And I didn't have a car anymore. That was like my first rock bottom. The first time that all I had was like a bag of stuff. And I remember walking out of the hotel because they wouldn't let me back in to get anything, nothing. So I walked to the side of the road. I was by myself and I just sat down on the side of the road and I'm like, I just want to give up. I want to give up. How do you give up? I'm like sitting there, like literally sitting on the side of the road, like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I give up. Then I sat there longer and I'm like, you physically can't give up. Because I wasn't going to take the other way, like out. But I was like, how do you just give up? I don't want to do this. And I just sat there with my thoughts and I'm like, okay, I can't give up. I can't give up. So I got up, called some people that I knew, finally got a ride, and someone helped me, and I just went from there. But yeah, I just remember that. You would think that would have been like the first like wake up for me, but it wasn't. All I did was try to rearrange some things and try to control. No, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, when I finally got clean, I prayed and I got arrested the same night. I went to jail and was in jail long enough to get my mind clear to where I could start asking and begging everybody for help, and that's what I did. So yeah, that was my rock bottom. You know, I sat in it for a while, but it finally clicked. I finally did it. And yes, it took me a few times of different ways trying to get clean till it's finally worked. What is your favorite way of getting rid of burnout? Okay, burnout, yes, especially in recovery, because we always were living these chaotic lives where, you know, we never knew from minute to minute what was about to happen. So it's almost like excitement, but it's stress at the same time. So for me, I switch up the routine a little bit. So let's say you go to work 5 days a week, you're off 2 days, and those 2 days you're off, you clean one day and you chill one day. Switch it up. Switch it up. If you have to take the weekend off to go do something, or take a week off to go on a vacation, or just take one day to go do something different than what you always do. Switch it up. You got to switch up your routine. If you want to plan it, you can. I try to plan stuff sometimes, but sometimes I just do it. I'll just be like, man, I can't keep sitting in the house. Just something. I just do something out of the norm that I don't normally do. That is the way to get through the burnout part. If you haven't been outside to take a walk, which most of us don't do that all the time, literally step outside your door and just go for a walk. Put some earbuds in, go for a walk. That will switch up your routine. Go to the park. If it's summertime, find a pool. Just something. Do something out of the norm that you normally do. Someone asked me, was it hard getting clean at first? Yes. It took me a few times, like I mentioned. It took me a few times until I not only wanted to do it, but I wanted to change my whole life. This last time, I didn't just get help. I moved away. I started over, completely over. I started with a whole new foundation and built up. I knew that if I did anything that I had done previously, that it wasn't going to work, because it never worked. So I was willing to do whatever it took, and I was listening to what I was told to do. I not only worked on my life, but on myself. That was something I hadn't done before, was work on me. Doing the steps does help. Making an amends and forgiving yourself too. And realizing what your part in things were. How you can change the patterns that you've continued to have over and over in your life. Because you don't want to keep doing those things in recovery. That's how I did it. I had to change every single thing about everything. And it's worked. How did you feel about the people who are trying to help get you clean when you were not ready? I'm asking because I'm dealing with someone in my family. Is there anything I can say or do to help them stop? Okay. There is nothing that you can do to make them stop. Helping them would be, here and there you plant the seed. A lot of you guys in the community on all platforms will tell me, hey, I sent my uncle, my sister, and my son your videos and now they're getting help. So sometimes it's just planting the seed, and it could be something as simple as, let me send a video of something that I think that they can relate to. And usually out of curiosity, they'll go and search more stuff like, okay, wait a minute. This person got clean. And my stories aren't made up, because you have to have lived that life to know about a lot of that stuff. That's one way to plant the seed without constantly being on someone's shoulder telling them, you got to get clean, you got to get clean. Because I know for me, the more I heard it, the more I pushed away. And that was just because the more I heard it, the more ashamed and guilt I felt, because I felt like I couldn't quit. So in my mind, I was like, there's no way I can stop. I can't afford it. I can't do it alone. I can't do this. So instead of putting my family through that and them watching me, I was embarrassed of that too, them seeing me like that. I pushed away. I moved away for a little while, and I pushed away because I didn't want them to see me like that. I didn't want to keep hurting them. But I know I was hurting them by leaving too. In my mind, I felt like I was hurting them more being around them. Of course, even when I would talk to them on the phone, they would always answer the phone for me when I called. They always told me they loved me, and they always told me that they would be there for me when I was ready to get clean. I think that is a better way to word it. Let them know you're there to support them. Not take care of them, but you're there to support them. Let them know you can be the first person that they can call, that you're there. You're there to help them try. You'll be right there with them. Because sometimes that's the scary part too, is knowing, okay, even if I try to get clean, I can't do this by myself. We think we can, but we really can't. We are strong. We can make that first step by ourselves, decide to do it. Because once you make that first step, you're going to meet a bunch of amazing people that are going to help you get through all of it. You're going to have better ways to cope. So my word of advice would be, instead of being like, hey, you need to get clean, you need to get off that stuff, it would be more towards the, I'm always going to be here to support you when you're ready to. Please call me. Let me be that person. You know, like that kind of support. So then they know that when that day comes, they know who to call. They don't have to try to freak out and wonder who's going to be there with them to make this big change in their life. And I feel like talking out of love instead of annoyed is much better too. And I know it's hard to do in the moment, but talking to someone like you care about them, they're more likely to listen than someone screaming at you. I know that's how I was anyway. Hopefully that helps. There's, like I said, there's nothing that you can like say or do to make them change their mind. They have to just want it. Not everybody hits a rock bottom. Some people just decide they don't want to do it anymore. They're tired of it. They want better for their life. But some of us, like me, it takes a lot. In my mind, I thought I could fix it. I'm going to fix this. I got this. I can control this. So it just depends on what kind of person they are. Try to support them by letting them know that you'll be there for them whenever they're ready. And that's all you can do. There's no other way to pressure them or make them do it. I'm wondering what the biggest barriers were for you when trying to get clean. For me, it was having a roof over my head, not being able to drive, so no license, no car, having no one, starting over. I knew when I was in jail that if I got out of jail and had nowhere to go, I would go back to doing what I was doing because I was in an unfamiliar place. And I only knew other people that were doing that stuff. So the first thing I knew I had to do, I had to get into a rehab or sober living. And at the time, I didn't know the difference. I was asking every officer. I was asking the mental health doctors. I was asking my probation officer. I was asking everybody. And when I got to the last jail, I talked to an officer and he was placing people in different sober livings. And he said, well, you've been clean now for months, so we can place you into a sober living. They ask you different questions, like, have you ever lived on your own? And have you ever had a job? Just different, they ask you different stuff. How long have you been clean? Just different things. He placed me in a sober living that he thought, based on the questions he asked me, I would be best fit for. And I was the only female, I think, out of that whole year, I think is how it worked. It was one girl, one guy that got the county grant to help pay for like 3 or 4 weeks of sober living. So that gave me time to look for a job. Now, that was another hurdle for me, is I didn't have my ID. I didn't have my birth certificate. I didn't have anything. So when I got out of jail, I had to get all of that stuff again, and I didn't know where to start because you had to have one to get the other. So I ended up getting it. It took me like 8 times going to the DMV to get an ID. Now, how am I going to get back and forth to work? What job am I going to have to where I can make sure I can get there? Because I had to have a job. I had talked to the owners of the sober living, and they were telling me about a restaurant that was nearby, and it was close enough for me to walk. So I went there. It was like a small little buffet place, and I worked there. I made enough money to pay what I needed to pay, and I walked to work, to and from sober living. I did that for a few months until I finally started working at another restaurant. I'm not going to say all the names. And that was the place I stayed at for 7 years. For me, the hurdle was paperwork, having a ride. And of course, there were people offering me rides from sober living, but I just didn't want to put my burden on anybody else. So sometimes I would, accept the ride, but I wasn't doing it like every day or anything like that because it was so close I could walk. In the beginning, that was the hardest part for me. And then my anxiety, dealing with my anxiety, I couldn't talk. Like, I would go to the meetings and my sponsor would be like, why don't you share today? And I would try to talk, and it's like, I would run out of breath while I'm talking, and then my mind would go blank. And she would just be like, just breathe. breathe. You're okay. It's okay. You don't have to share, you know? She was like, but it's okay. And it was the same thing, like even just talking to people, the girls in sober living or talking to the owners of the sober living, they always thought I was up to something because I was always so anxious and nervous. And I'm like, no, I just have anxiety really bad. It's not, that's just how I was. That was probably the hardest part for me, and just being lost, trying to get in the rhythm of things and figuring out, you know, what the heck am I doing? But I got through it, and here we are now. Someone asked me, who are you outside of recovery? I am a bubbly, goofy person. I am a talkative person. I can get along with almost anybody. I am a awesome aunt, sister, hopefully daughter, mom. Yes. I have good work ethic. I think I got that from my mom and my dad. I'm a very passionate person. When I love something, I love it hard. So I don't know if that's the addict in me or just me being passionate. I am very passionate about addiction and recovery because enough people aren't talking about it. Sometimes I get in my feelings about it when people say rude stuff, but then I have to remember that they just might not understand it. Because if you've not been through it, it is hard to understand. I mean, even me, when I was going through it, I still didn't understand it. So I get it. I'm a loving person. I'm one of the people that I remember growing up, I was the one trying to hug on my sisters. My sisters would be like, get off me. And I would just kiss on them and love on them. That's just me. I've always been like that. I just think I'm just like this happy-go-lucky person. I like to, of course, y'all know I like to shop, but I like to shop for other people. I'm the gift giver. That is my love language. I like seeing other people smile. I like knowing that I did something to help somebody. I like helping people. Everybody says I'm too nice, but I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. Of course, I'm not perfect, but I don't go out of my way to be rude and hateful to people. I try to be understanding the best I can, especially after going through what I've been through. You just never know what somebody's going through. I share my blessings, and I've always been like that. I'll bring snacks or food when I go to work, and I always share. That's just me. I just feel like I just care, and I care about people. That was my worst, best quality that I had for a long time, because I cared too much about people. And it was hurting me for a long time, and I was getting taken advantage of. I was allowing it. So I had to learn. I'm still working on people pleasing. I'm still learning the fine line between the two. I have to make sure I just don't overdo it by putting myself in a situation, because I'll give you the shirt off my back if I can. That's me. I'm also a girly girl. I went from being a tomboy when I was younger, and I'm a girly girl now. I like to do girly things. That's just how I am. And I always try to invite other people to do things with me when I do things, whether I go out to eat, do anything. I like taking somebody with me. That's just my thing, because I like to share. Do I have bad days? Yes, I am human. We all have bad days, but I try to stay positive. That's just me. A lot of people ask me if I miss anything about jail, and no, I do not miss anything about jail. I would never go on that 60 Days In show. I'm sorry, but anybody that's been to jail can tell you what's wrong with the jail, with the system. I know every jail is different, but most of the problems are the same in all the jails. You couldn't pay me to go back in there, and I sure wouldn't volunteer to go back in there. That's insane. I can tell you exactly what's wrong, and they're not going to change it because it's going to cost too much money to rehabilitate people. They're not going to do that. It's going to cost them money to have a program and whatever in their jails. They'd rather just continue to profit off of addiction and mental health and homelessness and whatever else they're profiting off of. Someone asked me, what music do I listen to? I am old school, so I like old R&B or rap, 90s, early 2000s, and some of the newer stuff, but I love my 90s, early 2000s. And I still listen to all those songs now, like they just came out. A lot of the songs are my instrumentals on my videos, on my shorts. So that's the kind of music I listen to. I listen to music. I'm listening to something every day. I used to listen to music while I got ready. I think that helps. That helps get you motivated. So yeah, if you need help getting motivated, put some music on when you get in the shower, while you're getting ready. Or even if you can't get out of bed, turn some music on. Turn your favorite song on, or turn a song you know is going to make you, like, you know, get up and dance a little bit. Just let it play for a minute, and it'll probably get you up or get your heart going and, and maybe get you moving. It's worth a try. Someone asked me, what was your dream career growing up? Okay, you guys. So when I was in high school, what I was going to college for, I tried, was radio broadcasting. I wanted to be like Delilah. And I just recently found out that she's still on the radio, and that's super cool. But I know that all of us listened to her growing up, but I wanted to be like her. I wanted to not only play music that mattered, but say things to people that mattered and help people. She just had that calming voice. It was just nice. We felt like she was listening to us and giving us advice. And that was just rare on the radio. It was rare altogether. So to hear it on the radio on a daily basis was pretty cool. So I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be like my own show, like talk show, kind of. Not really a podcast, but like a radio show with music. I wanted to play songs, where people dedicate songs. I just wanted to help people, but through music, because I know music really touches people and it gets you feeling good or emotional. And I just wanted to be like that. So that's what I tried to go to college for and ended up started using and all that. The rest is history. So yeah, that was what I wanted to do. Before that, I wanted to be a dancer. I thought I was going to go to college and be on the dance team somewhere. I wanted to open my own dance center and be a choreographer. I thought like when I was younger, that's what I was going to do. And after high school, I didn't even dance anymore. And now I don't even think I could do any of that stuff. Maybe if I practiced a little bit, I'm sure it would come back to me. But yeah, that was what I always wanted to do. But I will say now that I'm doing this, I wouldn't trade this for anything. This is more of what my passion really is than anything that I thought that I wanted to do. This right here, this is awesome. I didn't even know this could have been possible. I didn't even know this was a thing. So this is perfect. I get to talk to you guys. I get to help you guys. And I get to play my songs in my shorts. So it's kind of the same, but I feel like this is meaningful. It matters. This is it for me. This is perfect. This is exactly what I would want to always do for the rest of my life if I could. Someone asked, has quitting your job been better or worse for your recovery? Definitely better. It's been better for my physical health, my mental health. It's been so much better. All you guys are like, oh, you seem so much happier. It's not just being single and having my family around. It's not having to go to that stressful job and be in pain physically. It's just so much better for me. So I'm riding this wave until I can't anymore because, like I said, this matters to me and I wouldn't trade it for anything. This is so much better and I get to talk about it. We get to talk about these things out loud. So of course this helps me too, Yeah, it's way better now. Life is way better. Favorite food and restaurants, Italian, Greek, of course, any Greek restaurant. I like Olive Garden, any Italian food. I like both of those. That would be my go-to any day. If you say, hey, where do you want to go? One of those I'm happy with. Pizza, you guys know I like pizza, but definitely Italian and Greek. That would be my go-to. What's something you never thought you'd be able to do again before recovery? Everything that I'm doing. I never thought in a million years that my family would come around like they do. They would trust me. I think they trust me for the most part. They don't ever do or say anything to make me feel like they don't trust me. Whether they're thinking it or not, they don't make me feel that way. I never thought that day would come. Or, being around my nieces, my nephew, them trusting me alone with them, that was huge. The first time that happened, that was huge for me. I never thought that would happen. I had a job for 7 years. Never would have thought I could have kept a job for a long time. Pay my own bills, have a roof over my head. I never thought I'd be able to do that. I just didn't see myself being able to ever do that again. I thought I was going to be in this crazy cycle. Like even in sober living, I'm like, how am I going to do this? I can't do this. And even though I was telling myself I couldn't do this, I kept going and I did it anyway. Just keep going. Just keep going and take it step by step. Set your goals, do one thing at a time, and slowly but surely you'll get there. So yeah, everything in my life. Social media, of course, I didn't really know anything about social media back in the day, but When I first started, I would have never thought that I would be able to do what I'm doing today. This is pretty cool. Just everything. It's awesome. Telling my story and my story helping others, I would have never thought it would have helped someone like it does. So I think that's cool too. And you guys helped me a lot. So that's pretty cool. Okay, guys, I am going to wrap up this video and I will do another video for you guys. I'll probably do a couple more Q&As so I can get through the questions. Like I said, I just want to make sure I answer what I can for you guys. There are a lot of the same questions, and I mentioned this in the last video. Check my longer videos because I have touched on some of the questions that you guys have asked me. I've made videos about. And still, let me know. If you think of anything else that you want to know, let me know in this video. I'm going to try to get my mom on a video with me and ask her some questions and see what she says. Maybe not about her life, but about what she remembers going through with me from a mother's point of view. Maybe she can help somebody out there that has some questions. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I appreciate all the questions and the love and support. I hope this video helped. And yeah, see you guys.